Hi, I'm Big Sis.
Hi, I'm Little Sis.
And welcome to The Eyes Have It. Today is my summer Q&A video. And since Sissy's here, I'm going to let her ask your questions, and I will answer. And we're going to start with Instagram.
Okay, so the first question comes from Gina Ravallo. Got it right. What's your favorite part about where you live?
My favorite part about where I live, well, the beach. I like that. See, I lived in the D.C. area for most of my life, but I was raised in a small town in Ohio. So I think that Rehoboth for me is like a little closer to my hometown rather than the big city. We have a lot of traffic in the summer right now, but generally it's more like a small town than a big city.
Second question comes from Molly the Mole 101. What do you miss about living in D.C.?
Well, for sure, I miss having everything really available. For example, here in DC, I could be at a Kohl's in 15 minutes. Here, it takes me an hour to get to a Kohl's. So, that kind of thing. Plus, I love the city of DC. I lived right outside DC in Alexandria, but I loved DC and all the historical buildings and the museums and all that. So, I miss that too.
Second question comes from Jean Altman. What's your next big adventure?
You know, I really don't know because I have hardly traveled since I've lived here, since I retired, in part because of the dog, but in part because the people that I traveled with for 10 years, over 10 years, in the D.C. area don't travel with me anymore. So I have no idea. I'm missing my family reunion this month because of my shoulder. I'm not able to drive.
Okay, second question comes from Susie Blankenship. What's your favorite thing to do?
Holy Moses. Well, I love being with Sissy. We have so much fun. I mean, we always laugh and are silly and have fun. I love going to the beach early on Sunday mornings with my friend Jean because it's quiet. There's hardly anybody on the beach yet. I love going to movies. So that's some of the stuff that I like. And now we're going to switch over to YouTube questions.
Okay, so this is YouTube questions. And the first YouTube question comes from Sherry Harris. Oh, yes. What foundation do you recommend for mature skin with pores that always show up bad with foundation?
You know, I'm not the best person to ask because I'm not a foundation person. I don't wear foundation every day. I never have. I've been blessed through my life with good skin, and I've also been cursed with massive sweating from the face. So foundation was always something that I didn't go for because of my sweating and also because I didn't feel I needed it until these darn brown spots started showing up. I think that the It Cosmetics CC cream might be good for you because it's got anti-aging properties in it, and because it's like a nice smooth foundation. I personally don't like liquid foundations, but I like more of a cream or stick foundation.
The next one, I do not know how to pronounce the name.
Which one over here?
This one.
I think it's Gore Hananen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Gore Hananen. Hey Sherry, if you could get rid / quit one bad habit, what would it be?
There's two. I can't narrow down to one. One would be I'm an incredible addict of social media and video games. I'm retired, so I just do it like all day and into the evening while I'm watching TV. I'm like multitasking. And the other thing is if I could, I don't think I'd ever want to, but if I could stop eating sweets, I don't think I'd have a weight problem. That's one of them.
The third question comes from KS Girl 1969. Have you ever been to to a Broadway musical in New York? If so, what was it? What was / is your favorite? Hugs, Michelle.
I have never been. I have been to Broadway. I stayed in a hotel right on Broadway, but I have never been to a play there. However, I have been to a number of productions in DC's Warner Theater, and also in San Francisco at the Orpheum. I saw Wicked, and that was probably my favorite. Before I saw Wicked, which was just in 2010 when I went out to see my friend Denise, I would have said my favorite would probably be either Chorus Line or Mamma Mia.
Okay, the fourth question comes from from Mrs. Loretta. Sherry, my question is, if you could only have 4 makeup items, what would they be? And she said she's also curious to know if your arm and knee has healed.
Well, unfortunately, I broke my shoulder right at the 6-month part of my knee rehabilitation, and my knee could have used more rehabilitation. So I don't have 100% range of motion there, and I do still have a little discomfort because I didn't get to finish my work at home. The shoulder, as you see, I'm out of the sling now. I had my last appointment on Wednesday. I'm now able to start PT. I'm now able to go back to sleeping in my bed. And I'm now able to go without the sling as long as it's not bothering me. So I can't raise my arm very far. That's about as far as I can go. So PT is going to be painful, and it's probably going to be lengthy.
And
did I answer the first one?
No.
The 4 items.
Yes.
4 makeup items. Because I have I don't have super dark circles, but because I have some dark circles, I would say my Bare Minerals Naked Skin, Bare Skin under eye concealer. I would have to say an eyebrow pencil because my eyebrows don't show up if I don't pencil them. And probably an eyeliner and a lip. Those 4 things.
Okay. The next one comes from Sheer B. Hey Sherry, if you could time travel, where and when, past or future, would you like to go to? XOXO.
I would say that I would like to go back to a point maybe somewhere between between 2000 and 2008, like in the 8 years before I retired. I had dear friends in my life for many, many years, almost 30 years, who were my family. We spent every holiday together, every birthday together, and we were really, really tight. And then once I moved here, things kind of went south and sideways and every other way. And one of those people is now dead. One is in a nursing home with dementia, and one is just barely in my life. So I would like to go back and really, really appreciate what I had then.
This other question comes from Northern Part. Hey dear, my question is about the most ironic meal you've ever eaten.
Ironic?
Exotic.
Well, Sissy and I were just talking during lunch that, she's was a very picky eater when we met. And just in this past 6 months or a year, she has really gotten out of a lot of her picky eating. And I was telling her that I was even a pickier eater when I was a kid. And I've gotten out of a lot of mine too. But I am still pretty much what I call a safety girl when it comes to eating. I love Chinese, Japanese, Italian, Mexican. But when you get into like Indian and some of the other more out there, I'm not so experimental. I have been to an Afghan restaurant. I have been to sort of an Indian restaurant. It wasn't 100% classic Indian. So I have had a little bit stuff like that, but I haven't had anything like super exotic. Although when I was growing up, my father hunted squirrels and rabbits, so we ate those regularly. So that's exotic to some people.
The next question is from Isabella Dom and Quez.
Okay.
I don't know the last name. See, Dominguez.
Oh, looks like, yeah, Dominguez.
Dominguez.
Something like that. Okay.
Dominguez. Are you going to do more lookbooks?
Absolutely. And in fact, I was just thinking that today, like, when Sissy was going to be coming over, like, which videos do I want to film while she's here? And I am absolutely going to do more lookbooks. I just got an order within the past week of casual clothes from Torrid. So I want to do a lookbook of those. And actually, during the time I was rehabbing my knee, I thought about doing a lookbook of sleepwear because, I kind of lived in my sleepwear when I had my knee operation.
Next questions from Mary Gardner. Hey Sherry, I'm a huge fan of your videos, and I would like to know, what do you enjoy eating for all the different meals of the day, such as breakfast and dinner?
Well, breakfast is really boring. I drink a not really a protein drink, sort of kind of. It's called Ensure. And I drink the dark chocolate variety because I'm a chocoholic. So I have one of those and a couple of graham crackers for breakfast. And then lunch is usually my big meal of the day, and it's like a little like mid-afternoonish. And that'll be my main meal of the day. And this week I've been eating my pulled pork, what do I call them?
Tortilla.
Yeah, but it's got another name. I can't think of it.
Mexican pulled pork?
Yeah, but it's instead of a barbecue pulled pork, it's Mexican pulled pork. Carnitas, that's the word I was looking for. And I do that with brown rice. So I've been eating that this week. And we had that today for lunch. And for dinner, because lunch is my main meal, then dinner will usually be something small, like some cheese and crackers, something like that.
Okay, the next question comes from Carol Guz. Does your sister live with you? Love your videos. I do not. I actually come here on Saturdays when school starts back, and then last summer we used to do Wednesdays, and now now she can't drive, so it's usually Fridays or a weekend or.
Now I have to wait for her grandma to drive her to me instead of me going to get her. No, we are not related. We are not biological sisters. We are big brother and big brother, right? Big sister and little sister with Big Brothers and Big Sisters of America. It's a mentoring program in the States.
And I love this woman forever.
And I love her too.
The next question comes from Joe Williams. It says, I love your channel. Please be careful not to break any more bones.
Yes, Rose.
My question is, do you have a good recipe for an apple cake with added fruit cocktail from scratch?
Rose, when I first saw your question the day that you posted it, I swear it didn't have the fruit cocktail part in there.
Maybe
She edited it. Okay.
Edited.
Because when I first saw it, I was like, yes, I do. And I don't use recipes. I was just telling her at lunchtime that my cooking, because I was never taught to cook by my parents, anybody, I just kind of learned organically how to cook, and I take flavors that I know that I like, and I mix them together and stuff. I do not use recipes. But for baking, of course, you kind of have to, because it's more of a science thing. But I do have a recipe for Jewish apple cake. And I do have a recipe for applesauce cake, but neither of those involve fruit cocktail. And when I went back and saw the edited version, I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to have a recipe for her. But if you want either the Jewish apple cake recipe or the applesauce cake recipe, let me know, and I will go dig those out of my recipe book.
Okay. Next question is from Witches Brew Sims. What has been your go-to brand for makeup thus far this year? Why? How does it fit into your lifestyle with conveniences?
I didn't remember that when you asked this, when I first saw your question, that you were talking about this year. Because what I was going to say is, it keeps changing. I was really, really into IT Cosmetics for a year, and I was really into Mally and, Lorac. And, and different ones this year. Wow. Because I don't wear like a whole line. I wear things from all different lines, like my eyebrows from one company, my eyeliners from another company. Gosh, I guess I would say Lorac only because I use the Lorac 2 and 3 Mega Pros palette a lot. So, guess that would be it right for right now.
The second, well,
The next.
the next question is from Mary Ellen after 60. And she has a couple of questions. I don't know if you want to answer them all.
Yeah, she said I could pick, so just go ahead and read them and I'll
pick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first question is, describe your favorite meal. Second question is, what is your favorite city to visit? Third question is, if you could only purchase one brand of makeup, what could it be? Love you, Sherry. Mary Ellen.
Thank you, Mary Ellen. Those are all good questions. First one would probably be a really, really good steak, a really well roasted baked potato, and a salad would probably be my good meal. And then I'll quickly answer the other ones. The middle one was about what now?
The
second one?
city.
Favorite city, DC, because I lived there for most of my life, and also Lake Tahoe, Nevada. Love.
And the second one, if you only could purchase one brand of makeup.
Oh, Lord, that's impossible. I mean, because everything on my face right now is from a different brand. I don't think I could do it.
The last one from Pigsty
Italia. I know, that's not something you see every day.
Okay. This last question is, what were your favorite toys when you were growing up, say between 5 and 12? Amidst all the fun things I played with as a child. Looking gorgeous and love the lip, Melinda.
Okay, well, the first thing I thought of when I saw this initially was Betsy Wetsy. I was born in 52. Yeah, she was a little doll, and you fed her water, and then she peed, and you changed her diaper.
Betsy Wetsy.
We didn't have any of this fancy stuff when we were little. But no, I played with Betsy Wetsy. She was probably my favorite doll ever. Because it was like taking care of a little baby because she peed and stuff. And my parents got me a play kitchen, which I loved. And my dad ran a gas station back then, a Sinclair gas station. And he had this cage at the end of his service bay, which was where he kept all these parts for the cars. And he set my kitchen up back there. And so I could hang out at the station while he was working. And, he could basically kind of keep an eye on me, but I could, entertain myself. I loved that thing. It was like, I was like, the
Chef.
Barefoot Contessa or something. I was like so into my kitchen, and yeah, it was great. It was great. And I also had a pet chipmunk named, he just went out of my mind. Chippy. Pet chipmunk. Yep. Thank you all. That was the last one, right?
Yes.
Thank you all.
A pet chipmunk.
I did. I had a pet chipmunk. My grandma had it in her garden, and my dad came over and captured it, and he made a little chipmunk condo. And he put screen on the front so we could watch Chippy in there. And he had like a bedroom and a living room, and he had little blankets for his bed and stuff. It was very cool. Anyhow, thank you all so much for the questions, as always. I really, really appreciate it. And let's see, what else did I want to say? Thanks very much for the folks on Instagram. Because I usually get the vast majority, maybe all my questions on YouTube. So I was really happy to have so many on Instagram this time. Thanks so much. Take care.
Be well.
And always
be yourself.
Always be yourself. Be who you are. Don't ever. That's right. Okay. Do what you want. Don't do what you don't want. I mean, within reason if you're still living with your parents. You kind of have to do certain things that the parental unit wants. But no, really, don't ever do something that doesn't feel right in your heart to make somebody like you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't do it.
That's preaching right there. She better preach.
Because down the road you're going to go, why did I do that to myself? Because eventually you will not feel right about it because you know that in your gut or in your heart it was not right to begin with. Preach!
Preach, hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. Amen.
That's right. Bye.